Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Ethereal Enigma on PC. Alright, where did we leave off on? Somewhere around there. That'd be really cool. She suddenly falls quiet. All this talk about Velden must have her homesick. Based on what I'm hearing, Erlen must be having a harder time adjusting to life here than she lets on. Don't worry, you'll be able to see all those things. You'll be able to see all that again soon. She quickly clears her throat and turns back to her homework. I take a quick look at her workbook. Much to my surprise, she's already done half of the assignment. Whoa, when did you finish all those? When we were talking? Wow, she was filling this out without even really paying attention and showing all her work. Well, how'd you do that? That's an amazing skill. I wouldn't have been able to do math and talk about my hometown at the same time. How do you do that? That's fair. It looks like you don't need my help anymore, so I'll let you finish that up on your own. I leave the room, shutting the door behind me. It was interesting to hear a little more about Velden. I wonder if it really is how she described. I keep replaying the conversation in my head as I return to my room and finish up the rest of my homework. What would an alternate world really be like? Eventually, it becomes late and I feel myself growing tired. By the time I go to bed, I've come up with all kinds of crazy ideas. Who knows how many different worlds are out there. Considering the situation, it's no wonder Erlen can act a little strangely sometimes. I go to sleep feeling like I understand her a little better. I wake up bright and early the next day, stretching my arms high over my head, and slept so well last night. I feel so refreshed. After I throw on my school uniform, I go downstairs for breakfast. I pause at the table to see Erlen is already waiting, but Mina isn't. Huh? What are you doing on here? Oh, yeah? I suppose she has a point, but I'm still surprised she's taken on this school persona so easily. She munches on some toast as I slide into the chair next to her. Erlen seems oddly relaxed about everything. Is she really okay? If I were in her shoes, I don't know if I could go about my day without a care in the world, especially if I was literally in another world. Ask her how she's feeling. Hey, Erlen, how are you so calm about all this? About going to school and being stuck in this world? Aren't you worried about getting home? What? How? Erlen pauses, then looks at me. Me? She nods. Okay, that all makes sense to me. She makes a good point. I can't imagine her family back home wouldn't be looking all over for her. Well, hopefully they'll find you soon then. She nods. Mina finally arrives downstairs, shifting her bag over her shoulder. Morning. Erlen and I nod. We grab our lunchboxes and some fresh bread on the way out. The delicious taste of strawberry jam melts over my tongue as I push open the door. It's another beautiful day. A nice breeze filters through the trees and rustles the branches over our heads as we talk, or as we walk. Eventually, Kosei meets us on the way there. He grins and waves as he comes up from around the corner. When we arrive at school, the place is buzzing with students. A few are scattered about finishing up some last-minute homework, but most are talking animatedly to their friends. No idea. We enter our classroom and I plop down in my seat with a sigh. Miss Sato is in the front of the room, scribbling something on the board. Oh, it looks like the club fair is happening today. That's what all the commotion is. Mina perks up. Erlen looks confused. Mina leans forward on her desk and smiles. Erlen hesitates. She doesn't seem thrilled by the idea. Oh, no need to decide right now. There's no need to decide right now. They have lots of clubs to choose from. Just browse and see what you like. Erlen nods and doesn't say anything else. Misato swipes her hands after she's finished writing on the board. There's the sound of ruffling pages. I crack open my notebook to take notes, and she begins the lesson. The rest of the school day is uneventful, but it goes by at a decent pace. Having Mina, Kosei, and Erlen around makes the time go by faster. Eventually, the bell rings and we're dismissed for the club fair. Everyone shoots a stand and collects their belongings. We follow Misato out of the door. The club fair is set up in the quad, with different booths lined up in rows. It's already pretty crowded. Mina's eyes light up. I glance at Erlen, who boredly surveys our surroundings. Do you want to look around? Yeah, but didn't you say you wanted to make the most of your time here? Since you had to be at school anyway, you should just look around and see what catches your interest. She doesn't look convinced. Hey, you'll never know if you don't give things a chance. Who knows what new hobbies or interests you'll discover. Think of the possibilities. Erlen heaves a deep sigh. Kosei overhears and chimes in. Sounds good to me. Once we're all agreed, we branch off in different directions. It's about time to set off when I spot Kira's long, dark hair in the crowd. She happens to glance my way and we make eye contact. Carefully, she makes her way over to me. Hey, are you enjoying the club fair so far? Do you have any idea which club you want to join? She pauses, thinking. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look yet either. Kira nods. I hadn't expected Kira to be so interested in the fair, although it makes sense to check out a lot of booths when you're still undecided. Okay. She quickly says goodbye before heading for the booth. I wonder what other booths Kira has checked out. Well, time for me to start looking around. I make a circle around the fair, browsing through all of the club offerings. I walk by posters advertising clubs ranging from common interests, like debate or dance, to more obscure ones, like Hikaru Dorodango. Hikaru Dorodango? Which is apparently just dirt polishing. It seems like there's a club for everything. Most clubs, especially the sport and technical ones, are looking for people who already have experience from junior high and won't accept beginners. A lot of the others have already hit their new member quotas. I didn't realize the clubs filled up so fast. Oh, no wonder it's been a mad dash. After I finish my loop, there are 3 available clubs that are accepting new members. The Good Samaritans Club, the Science Club, and the Kendo Club. Which one would I like to learn more about? Kendo... Good Samaritan... Kendo. I definitely want to check out the Kendo Club. It sounds like it'd be cool. The first thing I notice about the guy behind the booth is his mismatched eyes. He greets me with a smile. Hi, I'm Big Dick. Yeah? Oh, that's good to know. He nods. Yeah, sure. I'm so ready. Rixney helps me sign up, and I'm soon an official member of the Kendall Club. Thanks. See you then. I'll leave and check out a few more clubs just for fun. Those clubs sounded really cool. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun this year. Just as I'm returning from the booth, I see Kosei and Mina are already waiting for us. Hey, did you see anything you liked? Kosei lifts an eyebrow. He crosses his arms. Mina giggles. He flicks his bangs out of his face with a smirk. Mina makes a face. These two never stop, do they? I cough and the two of them look up. Were any of these clubs able to convince you to join them? Mina smiles. I joined the Kendo Club. It seems pretty legit. Only with a bamboo sword. Thanks. I see Erlyn approaching us from the crowd. A determined look is carved across her face. We blink. That's pretty abrupt. On what, a club? What are you talking about? Oh, that's a good choice. That definitely sounds like the perfect role for Erlyn. Oh, cool. You'll be good at that sort of thing. She flashes me a grin. Mina's face lights up. Kosei nods. Erlyn lifts her chin with a smirk. You mean Kosei? She blinks. Kosei sputters. Silence. More silence. She smiles, then walks away, leaving him in the dust. He clutches his chest and flops onto the floor. Mina stifles her giggle while I shake my head. I suppose you can get your revenge by not voting for her. Kosei sighs. The bell rings, signaling it's time to go back to our classes. Talk about timing. We follow the group of students back into the hall. Erlyn seems excited now that she's decided on something she likes. As we take our seats in class, everyone is still talking about what clubs they're joining this year. Miss Sato enters the room and claps her hands to get our attention. Everyone quiets down, and Miss Sato begins her lesson. The second half of classes go by quickly. Soon the bell rings, signaling the end of the school day. Chairs scrape against the floors as everyone stands to gather their things. After retrieving my bag, I look around the classroom for Kira, but she's not there. I hope she didn't forget about our revisit to the shrine today. I didn't have a chance to ask her about it while we were in class. She's probably waiting for me out front. After saying goodbye to my friends, I hurry out of the classroom and into the courtyard. Kira waits for me in front of the doors. Her bag is slung carelessly over her shoulder. As she waits, she frees her hair from the strap, letting it fall down her back. She glances at me as I approach. Hey! Are you ready to go? She nods. We head out of the courtyard and pass through the school gates. Soon we're on the path towards the shrine. Thanks for coming with me. Kira nods again. Same. I soon recognize the shrine gates in the distance. The closer we get, the more my stomach twists and knots. I really hope we get some answers this time. As if sensing my thoughts, Kira picks up the pace. When we arrive, the shrine is quiet. A few people wander the grounds, enjoying the tranquility. We head towards the offering box. That seems a likely place for volunteers or staff members to frequent. Kira grasps something within her hand and momentarily holds it up against her chest. What's that? She opens her palm to reveal an amulet. That's thoughtful. You're my lucky charm. Oh, that's a good idea. I grin, folding my hand over Kira's. Her gaze flicks down. I wink, holding onto my lucky charm. Silently, she slips her hand out of my grasp. Guess my luck ran out. We continue on our way. As we approach the offering box, someone exits, nearly running into us. I glance up and see a guy who looks to be about our age. It's okay. We're about to pass him when he stops us. We freeze. How does he know that? I take another look at him. Although he wears the same school uniform, I don't recognize him. He must be an upperclassman. I glance at Kira, but she doesn't recognize him either. Yeah? His grin broadens. Who are you? Oh, I see. So that's how he knows Kosei. He must have recognized me from when I helped Kosei practice. He passes me an envelope. Sure, that's fine. He breathes a sigh of relief. He waves as he walks away. No problem. With a final smile, he jogs off. Kira looks after him, expressionless. Yeah, he's lucky he ran into us. She nods. Anyway, should we go up to the box? Together, we step up towards the offering box. The main hall is right nearby. From here, I have a pretty clear view inside. I peek in, but there are too many people to spot anyone clearly. A moment later, Kira grasps my arm. Don't think too much about it. Kira's trying to get my attention to tell me something, that's all. There's no need to read any more into this. I look over to her. She points to an elderly woman sweeping the leaves off the main path. Her gray hair is pulled into a low bun and her clothes look neatly pressed, but she doesn't look familiar. She's not the old woman I talked to. Maybe she's Mrs. Tanaka. Yeah, it couldn't hurt to talk to her. She might know something. Kira nods. I lead us over to the woman, who blinks as we approach. Sorry to disturb you. Are you Miss Tanaka? Or Mrs. Tanaka? Her eyes widen. No, but we were told you could help us. She splits into a knowing grin. Oh, you got it all wrong. I emphatically shake my head. Oh, no, we're not together. The woman chuckles and holds up a hand to stop me. She winks at Kira, who blinks in surprise. Mrs. Tanaka sighs dreamily. She snaps back to reality and nods briskly. Oh, she says ethereal too. I've always said ethereal. We exchange glances, and Kira's eyes widen. My heart thumps loudly in my chest. I think we finally stumbled upon a lead. You've heard of ethereal energy too? I've only heard a little bit about it. What exactly is ethereal energy? Mrs. Tanaka scratches her head. Yeah, but what is it? Right, but how does that work? The excitement I felt moments before quickly ebbs. Sort of. Mrs. Tanaka knows about as much as we do. I look over at Takeda, who seems to mirror my thoughts. I guess this is a dead end, too. We may as well go back. I turn to Mrs. Tanaka. Well, thank you for all your help. She shuffles off. A moment later, she returns and firmly places an amulet in my hands. We really aren't a couple. No, there's no reasoning with her. There's no point in arguing with her. She's obviously convinced herself that we're a couple and no amount of reasoning is going to change her mind. I may as well accept it so we can leave. Thanks, I guess. Alright, we'll get going. Thank you again. Kida and I freeze. Whatever she said is definitely not Japanese. In fact, I don't think it's any recognizable language. What's that phrase you just said? What does it mean? Mrs. Tanaka hesitates. I don't know it either. But I know something that well. I quickly pull up my phone. Hey, Google. Oh, Google. Ding. What does Alioten Lorielden Mali mean? Unrelated articles pull up on my phone. Let's try again. What language is Alioten Lorielden Mali mean? Oh. More random articles pop up, none of which have to do with languages. I type it out in Google Translate, but that doesn't even return a result. If Google doesn't know it, then it's probably not a language from here. If it's not a language from here, then maybe it's a language from another world. Mrs. Tanaka, I have a friend who may be interested in that phrase. Would it be okay if we came back to visit another day? When would be a good day? Thank you, Mrs. Tanaka. We'll come visit then. She's just a friend. I don't think she'll listen, even if I try to clarify further. Kira must be thinking the same thing. After saying goodbye, Kira and I make our way out of the shrine. I feel lighter once we leave, filled with renewed hope. Kira catches up as we turn around the road onto the road. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling Erlen might. Yeah, none of us recognize it. Even Google didn't know it. Kira nods thoughtfully. That's what I'm thinking. You're right. We reached the intersection where our paths split. Thanks for coming with me again. Hopefully we'll learn more next Thursday. I don't need to bring that up. Kira nods. Yeah, see you. After a brief wave, we both head our separate directions. I pick up the pace and hurry home. My chest is nearly bursting with anticipation. I'm eager to tell Erlen we have a lead. I make it home, breathless and aching. Immediately, I go upstairs 2 at a time, then knock on Erlen's door. She's lounging on her bed, flipping through a book when I enter. I was just at the shrine looking for that old woman when I learned a very interesting phrase instead. Would you like to hear it? She turns back to her book. Casually phrase drop. I shrug, feigning equal indifference. No? Well, all right then. Turning towards the door, I call out, I guess I'll go to someone else and wish them Aliotin Loreliden Mali instead. She responds automatically. Then her eyes widen as she realizes what she just said. She sits up straight on her bed. Is that what you speak in Velden? Like I said, I went back to the shrine to see if I could find that old woman, but ran into someone else. She taught me the phrase. Erlen jumps to her feet. Her expression is serious, but I can hear the hope in her voice. There must be. Otherwise, how did Mrs. Tanaka learn it? Mrs. Tanaka said she'll be back to the shrine on Thursday. We can go find her after school and ask who she learned the phrase from. It's probably not a good idea to disturb her at work. She's already agreed to a Thursday visit. You're not royalty here, remember? She's about to retort, but sighs instead. The excitement over, Erlen sinks back onto her bed. I can imagine. The possibility of meeting one of her people here must be exciting and nerve-wracking. Sure. Returning to my room, I get a head start on my homework. When I'm tired of studying, I take a break by browsing memes on Reddit. Reddit. I mean, is Reddit like a copyrighted word? I don't know. There's some crazy stuff on the internet. Eventually, it's late and time for the bed. After washing up, I happily slide into bed. Feeling positive, I drift into a gentle sleep. I wake up on time the next morning and quickly get ready for the day. Maybe if I'm fast enough, I can beat Mina to breakfast. After I get dressed and gather my things, I head downstairs. To my disappointment, both Mina and Erlen are already sitting at the table. Erlen ignores me, happily chewing on a steamed bun. It looks like Aunt Emiko left us meat buns and sweet bean buns. I glance at her. Do you like it? She takes another bite and nods. I blink. That's the first time she's openly admitted to liking something. Mina clasps her hands together in delight. So, Mina, how much convincing did it take before she'd try one? Mina stares blankly. What? I narrow my eyes. So if Mina says something good, you'll trust her, but if I say something's good, you think it'll be bad? She answered that a little too cheerfully, chewing on another mouthful. Mina, wing woman me. Quick, Mina, tell her what a good guy I am. Mina looks at me and then sadly shakes her head. But I'm your cousin. She sighs. Erlen grins smugly. Betrayed by my own flesh and blood. Mina turns back to Erlen. Erlen shakes her head, swallowing her bite. Mina's eyes widen. Wow, look at the time. We better get going before we're late. I don't want to go down this road. I better get Mina distracted so she'll stop asking questions. Luckily, Mina checks the time. Grabbing an extra bun, I sling my bag over my shoulder and follow the girls out of the house. Mina and Erlen continue to chat, and I tag a little bit behind. They've really hit it off. I've noticed them spending more time together in the house, too. We soon reach the school gates. Together we enter and cross through the courtyard. Although we aren't late, we're cutting it close. Most students are already in class. Hustling, we head down the hall and into the classroom where we take our seats. Kosei greets us enthusiastically, full of energy first thing in the morning. Hey, man. Before any of us can reply, the instructor enters. We really did cut it close. After taking attendance, Miss Sato clears her throat. The room is soon abuzz with whispers and murmurs. Holding both titles would be an extra honor. A hand raises into the air. Miss Sato calls out on the student. The student seems satisfied with the answer. That makes sense to me, too. Miss Sato glances down at her notes. Jiru immediately stands up in his seat, adjusting the thick glasses on his face. His uniform is starched and neatly pressed. He even has an extra pen and pocket square in his pocket. His expression is serious as he nods to the class. Okay, he doesn't even get a portrait. I guess he's not important. He raises his fist in emphasis, but only gets a couple of scattered claps in response. My eyes are drooping as he continues his speech. Even if I wanted to focus, his monotone voice makes it really hard. As I glance around the room, my classmates share my thoughts. Some have their hands in their heads as they lean on the desk. After what feels like an eternity, he sits back down. Miss Sato has a pained smile on her face. The class raises sleepy heads as Erlen stands. She must have been serious about student council yesterday. The class sits to attention at her short speech, looking hopeful again. Cheeto scoffs. The class erupts into whoops and cheers while Cheeto sits dumbfounded. His protests are drowned out by the applause. Erlen flashes the crowd a flirty wink before sitting back down. Then she glances at me. Oh, short and sweet. It was short and to the point. I couldn't have asked for a better speech. You were right. Miss Sato grins in amusement at the scene before her. She claps politely before regaining control of the class. Based on how today went, tomorrow's debate should be interesting. Erlen and Jiro are two very different candidates. I'm curious to meet the candidates running from the other homeroom classes. I refocus my attention on Miss Sato as she starts the class. Class goes by quickly. Sure. Okay. I walk with Kosei to the cafeteria, and we get settled at one of the tables. As I unpack another delicious bento from Aunt Emiko, the savory smell makes my mouth water. I can't wait to dig in. Kosei unwraps an onigiri and takes a big bite. Yeah, I think the election will be exciting this year. Well, of course she is. Definitely, her speech was perfect. Exactly. I think she'll do well. Kosei nods. I hear a thud behind me. We both look over to the source of the noise. 3 older students have gathered around a table, looming over an uncomfortable-looking guy. He's skinny and small, and his books are scattered on the floor. One guy, who I assume is the leader of the bullies, sits in the chair beside the scrawnier boy. Rio shrinks back as the older boy leans forward. The bully sits back up, and Rio lets out a shaky breath. The bully laughs, which prompts his friends to laugh too. Rio reaches for his food, but the bully swipes it first. All Rio brought was a plain rice ball. It's even smaller than Kosei's. He eats the food in one gulp, then frowns. Oh, it's these cartoon bullies. Rio gulps. Okay, they're not necessarily cartoons. I mean, bullies were like that when I was growing up too, you know? They didn't really sound like this, though. I take another look at Rio. His uniform has been worn and washed so often that the colors have faded. It hangs loosely off his skinny frame. My guess is that it's second-hand. I can see the patches where holes have been hastily sewn up. It doesn't seem like Ryu is hiding any money. The bullies circle on the boy. I look back to see Kosei clenching his fist, his teeth gritted in anger. Let's back him up. Alright, the kid's about to get himself beat up. I get to my feet, ready to act, but Kosei is already one step ahead of me. Before the bullies can do further damage, Kosei storms over to them. I follow a few steps behind. The bullies are shocked for a moment, but their surprise quickly turns to amusement. Rio shakes his head, too stunned to speak. The bully laughs. The bullies smile in a predatory way. They now surround Kosei like sharks. Kosei grins dangerously. The atmosphere is tense. The cafeteria has grown quiet. You mean 2 of us? I step up beside Kosei. He looks over to me, a strong determination in his eyes and a half smile on his face. He nods and I nod back. We all whirl around at Mina's voice. She marches up to the bullies, getting right in their faces. The bullies pause, frowning. She smiles threateningly. I can almost see the fire radiating off her as her eyes blaze into the bullies. They stare Mina down for a moment, then back off. Slowly they step away, kicking Rio's chair one last time. I hear them grumbling about not fighting a girl as they pass. I let out a breath that I'd been holding. We were lucky we didn't end up exchanging blows. Mina turns on us. Meh, worst thing since suspension. Suspension's nothing. The two of them pause as Rio approaches us. He nods. Then he hesitates. Yeah, as long as you're okay. Rio nods again. I'm Big Deke, and this is Mina. He offers a wry smile. Kosei grins. Rio collects his bag and exits the cafeteria. I pull Kosei aside as we head back to our table. Hey, that was a really good thing you did. Kosei shrugs. See, your friends are here for you. It won't be you because you're your own MC. You could take them on your own. Oh, your friends are here for you. Yeah, sure. You know that I'll always have your back. He grins. And so will Mina. You'll just have to deal with the lecture afterwards. Kosei laughs. We settle down at the table and return to our lunches. Mina snorts. I mean, that could be it, but it's more likely they didn't want to fight a girl. Mina punches Kosei's arm. He rubs at his fresh wound, wincing. Mina scoffs. She pulls back her arm to hit him again, but Kosei dodges out of the way. Mina isn't convinced. She leaps out of her chair and lunges at Kosei, who scrambles away just in time. She chases after him and the two vanish from sight. Guys, what about your food? I sigh. So much for eating lunch together. A bell rings a little while later, and I head back to class. For the rest of the day, I take notes and do my best to pay attention. I'm still thankful when the dismissal bell rings. I had some free time after school today. As I pack my things up, I wonder if anyone wants to hang out. Mina, Kira... No, what's Kira up to? I wonder what Kira's up to this afternoon. Maybe she'll want to hang out. The crowd starts thinning as students head home. I take a quick look through the halls, but there's no sign of Kira. She's not in the courtyard either. She must have left already. I guess I'll catch her next time. As I'm about to head home, my stomach rumbles. I'm hungrier than I'd realized. I may as well get a snack before I go home. I'd heard about a hipster cafe that opened up across the street from our school. It's supposed to have really good drinks and desserts, and I've been meaning to try it. Now would be the perfect time. I make my way over to the cafe and enter. It has a mix of tabletops and casual couches, which customers lounge in. The large windows let in lots of natural light, giving the place a cute, cozy atmosphere. why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Ethereal Enigma on PC. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.